Jack Begley, a man with a profound conflict that took over his life, has been working on various projects and proving his abilities. While searching for the hidden treasure on Oak Island, he lost several family members and friends. However, he kept going despite the pain. The quest for hidden treasures on Oak Island has been going on for over 2 centuries, captivating those who hear about the supposed riches buried there. Despite the disappointments and hard work involved, people keep returning to this small island off the coast of Nova Scotia, driven by tales of buried wealth. No one really knows what's there or who it belonged to originally, which only adds to the intrigue. Everyone who goes there has their own guess or theory about the origin of the treasure. Some think it's pirate treasure, hidden away during the golden days of sea bandits in the 17th and 18th centuries. These pirates, like the infamous Blackbeard and Captain Kidd, are said to have hidden their looted goods on Oak Island. This part of the story makes the island feel like the setting of an adventure novel, where danger and riches go hand in hand. Another theory connects the treasure to Sir William Shakespeare. According to this idea, some of Shakespeare's never-seen writings and a bunch of his wealth might be hidden on Oak Island. Artifact, whether it's a coin, a piece of pottery, or a metal tool, has a story that can shed light on the past activities on the island. The team works with historians, scientists, and other experts to decode what these finds mean and how they fit into the history of Oak Island. The personal stories of the team members add depth to the show, showing the passion and dedication of the Lagena brothers and their team, which often extends beyond simple treasure hunting. The show also captures the challenges and setbacks that the team faces, such as harsh weather, unexpected equipment failures, and complex logistics. As the series progresses, the stakes get higher and the discoveries become more intriguing. The team's persistence and evolving strategies keep fans hopeful and curious about what they might uncover next. The ongoing saga of the Curse of Oak Island continues to captivate audiences not just because of the potential treasure, but because of the path of discovery that the Lagena brothers and their team are on. Each member brings their unique skills and perspectives to the table, making the show a comprehensive look at treasure hunting, historical investigation, and personal dedication. Jack Begley, a Michigan-based treasure hunter, is known for his work on Oak Island and his role as a producer of the Curse of Oak Island show. He also runs his own drone pilot company, Remote Energy Solutions. Despite his success, something seems missing in his life, particularly in the romance department. Fans have noticed this gap and even looked through his social media profiles for any signs of a romantic partner. Coping with loss on Oak Island is a heartbreaking detail for Jack, who is possibly still dealing with the loss of his younger brother, Drake, who died in 2016. The loss of a sibling is incredibly tough, and losing someone so close at such a young age is a heavy burden that could affect anyone deeply. Losing a friend or family member is tough, and for Jack, it has been particularly rough. Not only did he lose his younger brother Drake in 2016, but just 3 years later, he had to say goodbye to his old friend, Dan Blankenship. Dan was a sharp, wise 95-year-old historian who had lived on the captivating Oak Island for 50 years. His passing in 2019 added another layer of grief for Jack, who was still dealing with the loss of his brother. Jack's resolve didn't waver. Perhaps it's his favorite music, Eminem, which seems to provide him with the motivation to push forward. This influence is crucial, especially when Jack dives back into the work that he and Dan were so passionate about. Jack spends the majority of his year on Oak Island, driven by the hope of uncovering something big. Although he's officially based in Michigan, his real work happens on the island, where he and his team are relentless in their search. This work is not just a job for Jack, it's a mission, fueled by the memories of his brother and his mentor. The connection to his home state of Michigan, shared with his musical hero, Eminem, perhaps offers him a sense of identity and belonging that steadies him amid the uncertainties of treasure hunting. The search on Oak Island isn't just a casual undertaking, it's a full-blown operation that only pauses when the harsh winter weather makes the island inaccessible. During the search season, Jack is intensely active, participating in every aspect of the hunt. His relationship with Gary Drayton, who is often at the forefront of the search, highlights the collaborative spirit of their mission. The challenge of uncovering the treasures of Oak Island is immense, shrouded in thickets of trees and underbrush, but also a layer of intrigue and unresolved questions from past expeditions. For Jack, the treasure hunt on Oak Island is more than just a quest for material wealth. It's a tribute to the people he has lost. Each discovery, each clue they uncover, feels like a step closer to realizing not just his dreams, but also honoring the legacies of Drake and Dan. Jack's drive to uncover what lies beneath the surface of Oak Island is intertwined deeply with his personal losses and his desire to make a mark, to complete a quest that has consumed many before him.
Breaking news: the Lagena brothers have just found something that made them shudder, and the once buzzing dig ended abruptly. What terrifying mystery have they concealed? The reality they discovered might never be accepted by the world. The History Channel's popular reality series, The Curse of Oak Island, has come under fire in recent weeks following the discovery of some centuries-old indigenous artifacts, which prompted local officials to shut down a large portion of the show's dig operation, causing several archaeologists to be sent packing. Fans are already speculating as to whether the Lagenas and their crew will ever experience a return to normalcy, not to mention the future of Oak Island. During the final dig on the island, the Lagena brothers and their crew unearthed a bizarre find leading to the closure of Excavation. While the Lagena brothers and metal detector specialist Gary Drayton have mostly found mud, wood, and other metal implements on the 140 acres of the purportedly cursed Oak Island, they have also found a number of rare artifacts. But what precisely are these insane discoveries they managed during the final excavation in the whimsical realm of Oak Island? There is yet another challenge for the men on the Curse of Oak Island. In an effort to prevent them from digging on the island, the Canadian government intervened. Finding underground entrances to what they think is the riches was the objective, though. Regrettably, bureaucracy is getting in the way. The team discovered what could have been a hidden room next to the garden shaft. Doug engaged Dumas Contracting Limited to come in and work as excavators to dig them down and into these potential chambers. He did this by giving them a call. They think they have discovered pathways leading to a potential hidden treasure on the island. The crew was forced to wait since it would take 50 days to descend 75 feet as a result. They thought they may have just discovered a network of tunnels and chambers leading to the fabled hidden wealth. Additionally, they think one of the artifacts they discovered was of Viking provenance, which is much older than they had anticipated. But there is a new issue now. The hire of excavators, according to the Canadian government, indicates that the Lagena brothers require a mining warrant. Even though they are not officially mining, red tape has once again turned the authorities against the crew searching for wealth. Not all fans, though, appeared shocked. The Canadian government wants to stop a group of well-documented gold diggers from blindly rebuilding a wooden shaft that descends to an unknowable depth on an island where 6 treasure hunters have already perished doing the same thing. And they're the bad guys in this situation, a fan wrote on Reddit. The Canadian government has already meddled with the Lagena brothers' search for treasure on the Curse of Oak Island. They stopped conducting a significant portion of the island's excavation work in 2021. The Lagena brothers' crew discovered many hundred-year-old indigenous artifacts at this time. The crew found First Nation Mi'kmaq pottery fragments on the island during Season 9. Marty Lagena stated in an episode at the time that they would avoid using archaeological techniques as they awaited the outcome of the situation. The only change that came as a consequence was, does this facet make to the larger mystery? As of yet, nothing has been decided on that. Carmen Legg, a specialist in blacksmithing, meets with Rick and Marty Lagena, Craig Tester, and archaeometallurgist Emma Culligan at the Oak Island Interpretive Center to study the massive metal staple that was discovered the previous day. Its starting point is a fantastic quadrilateral. Even though it was a strange geometric figure, they had no notion what the specific feature represented. They have found no others of its kind on the island before. There are now countless conjectures regarding the type of wealth that might be hidden on the island, as well as how it got there. However, the William Phipps theory has won over a lot of supporters and is supported by a lot of data. The theory was refuted by writer and history enthusiast Hammerson Peters in a recent video that was posted to his YouTube channel. The majority of the information presented in the movie is taken from the book Oak Island and Its Lost Treasure, which first made the strong case for the conspiracy. The Peters have proposed the following idea, which can be summed up as follows. During the 17th century, William Phipps was a skilled explorer, and the English supported him financially. The Protestant majority, including the political elite and aristocracy, developed a strong dislike for the Catholic king when King James II came to power in 1685. James II adhered to Catholicism, or to put it another way, they planned to depose him. The following stories are word-of-mouth legends from the late 18th century because there is so little information about the early treasure-related operations that occurred on Oak Island that has been objectively verified. It took many years after the incident before publishers began to pay attention to this kind of activity and look into the stories involved. The tale of a treasure found by a settler named Daniel McGinnis was published for the first time in 1857. This is the story's earliest known telling. After that, it was another 5 years before one of the purported original diggers gave a testimony regarding the initial narrative and subsequent Onslow and Truro Company deeds. The earliest settlers in the region heard tales of a dying crew member of Captain Kidd's ship. The man said that Captain Kidd had hidden £2 million worth of treasure on the island. Captain Kidd passed away in 1701. According to the most widely recognized version of the story, Daniel McGinnis came across a dip in the ground in 1799 while looking for a place to build a farm. McGinnis asked for help from other people in order to dig because he believed that the depression fit with the legend surrounding Captain Kidd. With the aid of 2 people only known by the names John Smith and Anthony Vaughan, he dug out the pit and found a layer of flagstones 2 feet, 61 centimeters below the surface. The earliest documents, however, merely mention marks of some sort at these intervals. Later accounts report finding oak platforms every 10 feet, 3 meters, although previous accounts only make reference to marks. The various legends also mention the tool marks or pick scratches on the hole's walls. The soil was not as well packed as the soil around it, and it was visibly loose. The 3 men reportedly stopped their digging at a depth of 9.1 meters, 30 feet, because of superstitious dread. In an alternative interpretation of the story, all 4 of the main characters are portrayed as teenagers. According to this account, McGinnis first learns of the slump in 1795 while on a fishing excursion. The rest of the story proceeds in the same manner as the first, with the logs discovered as its focal point, but it ends with the 4 people giving up after they have gone as far as they can. For more current discovery stuff, remember to subscribe. They continued to excavate until they reached a depth of around 90 feet, 27 meters, where they discovered layers of logs, or marks, spaced about 10 feet, 3 meters apart. They also discovered a large stone with symbols engraved onto it, as well as layers of charcoal, putty, and coconut fiber. When the hole unexpectedly filled with water to a depth of 60 feet, 18 meters, the situation for the diggers grew challenging. The alleged dig was finally given up on after repeated fruitless attempts by workers to retrieve the riches from below by excavating a tunnel starting at a second shaft that was equally flooded. The most prosperous company of the pre-publication era is thought to have been the Truro Company, which is said to have been founded in 1849 by a group of investors. Re-excavation of the hole was placed all the way down to a level that was 26 meters, 86 feet below the surface. But it eventually overflowed once more. After that, it was decided to drill 5 boreholes into the machine's original shaft using a pod auger. Recently, scientists made what appears to be a weird discovery in space. Could this be an alien species? To learn more, click the next post. Discovered 15 feet below the ground's surface. Days after days, they were excavating in Smith's Cove on the island, which is supposed to be where the treasure is hidden, when they came upon a little ceramic shard that they believed to be from a jug. The ceramic object is 2 inches in diameter and 0.5 inches thick. It was formed of a substance that mimics clay and has a particular pattern on one side. In the pattern, a flower or plant was observed. The Lagena brothers claim the ceramic piece may have come from a jug used to transport wine or other liquids. This would prove that humans were residing on Oak Island in the 17th century, since it would show where the treasure could be buried. They have made several fascinating discoveries in their search, including several Roman artifacts. A lead sword is among the most important Roman artifacts that the Lagena brothers unearthed. And, to everyone's surprise, Smith's Cove is where the sword was located. The sword is assumed to have been manufactured in Italy and dates to the 1st or 2nd century AD, which is ornamented with several motifs, including a dolphin and a trident, and it is in generally good shape. The pottery fragment is another remarkable Roman artifact that the Lagena brothers unearthed. It was discovered in the island's Money Pit region and supposed to have been produced in France and dates to the 4th or 5th century AD. On the other hand, it was decorated with symbols, including a cross and a sundial. The brothers discovered several other Roman artifacts on Oak Island beside the lead sword and the piece of pottery. Coins, nails, and jewelry are some of these relics. Some people think that Oak Island was previously visited by Roman explorers because of the existence of these Roman articles. A reality television series called The Curse of Oak Island follows the hunt for riches on Oak Island. The brothers Rick and Marty Lagena, who have been looking for the loot for more than 10 years, are followed throughout the series. The Lagena brothers and their gang continued their hunt for riches on the mysterious island in the most recent episode of The Curse of Oak Island, picking up where the previous one left off. The crew concentrated on the marsh in this episode because it was the location of several intriguing artifacts they had previously discovered, including a lead cross and a stone with the Latin inscription 70 feet below. They were able to locate several abnormalities in the swamp using a range of techniques, including sonar and ground-penetrating radar, which they suspect might represent the remnants of buried buildings. One of the most intriguing oddities is a big rectangular object around 70 feet below the surface. The crew is excited to dig into this to see what they uncover, since they think it may be a treasure box. The crew must not harm what they seek, since the marsh is challenging and dangerous. Eventually, they excavated a tiny area of the item, but could not see what was within. In a later episode, they will have to go back to the swamp to carry on their hunt. Yet, the crew made modest strides on other parts of the island. They started digging a new shaft close to the marsh and continued to drill in the Money Pit location. The crew made some progress in their hunt for riches, even though they made no significant finds in this episode. They are optimistic that the forthcoming episodes will include something important. As more proof that Oak Island has long been the location of covert operations, or more precisely, clichés, the presence of a nearby treasure, the researchers also discovered traces of earlier human activity. That's not it, though. The real deal was the map they found on the island, which dated back to 1647. It was a French copy, with the labels hatch, valve, and anchor, suggested significant connections. In particular, it suggested that the money may have come from Africa, raising the intrigue around Oak Island. The brothers are convinced this map will point them toward their lost money. The series has followed their journey for over a decade, and it will be interesting to see if they can finally solve the mystery. The story goes that, in 1795, while on an adventure on the island, a group of boys around the age of 13 discovered a dip in the earth. They began digging since they believed it to be a fake hole, and as they dug, they found multiple layers of wood and other things. Yet, a mysterious flood stopped them in their tracks, filling the hole with water and blocking any further excavation. As soon as word of the discovery spread, treasure seekers from all over the world flocked to Oak Island to look for the loot. The Onslow Company, a group of financiers, organized the first orderly excavation of the Money Pit in the year 1803. This specific team was able to dig down to a depth of 90 feet before the flooding, which happened in the pit once more, hampered their attempts. Meanwhile, the excavations were permanently halted in 1909 as the Oak Island Treasure Company went out of business. Since then, several other parties have tried to find the treasure buried on Oak Island, but the riddle